Oh, there we go. We're back. Oh, we're so back. Let's go. Finally got this sucker going. Everybody wondering if you're watching this after the live, I'm just going to start talking immediately before anybody ends up joining or not joining. This is my picks and predictions for who's going to win conference championship weekend in the NFL and who's going to advance to Super Bowl 60. So, welcome in. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope you checked out my video about the Broncos and Jarrett Stidham, or hopefully you checked out my video about CJ Stroud. Should they get rid of him or not? A lot of good videos coming up next week as well, including a couple about the Cardinals. Why no coach wants to go coach for the Arizona Cardinals. Also, every team ranked potential for Kyler Murray and the best spots for Kyler Murray to end up in the 2026-2027 football season. And the Cardinals are very likely one of those teams. The Cardinals don't seem like they want to drop him. They don't want to lose that money. They also are in a position where they got one more year, I think, at least on the contract. So keep an eye out for those videos. Also got a video about the Bills possibly coming up here and the Bills coaching situation and how they interviewed Phillip Rivers, how they seem to be a bit of a hot mess right now with GM Bean, for some reason, still being there, even though they got rid of McDermott and made him the scapegoat for their team. Definitely want to look into that one, as well as possibly some other great videos as well. Don't know if I have enough time for any other ones next week, but maybe a couple funny ones as well. I have a video coming up for if the NFC West was a Law and Order episode. I think that one's going to be pretty funny. Haven't filmed that one yet, but I'm going to be getting that one going as well. So that's going to be a really exciting thing to make happen. But yeah, this is the first time I've done a live stream like this. Actually, I did a couple before I actually got any sort of growth on this channel. They didn't really do anything, but we're going to go a bit more frequently from time to time. I also have a member and putting out my first members, the equipment that I use for my channel, everything like that. And that's just going to be trying to do a members only video once every 2 weeks, I think, at the minimum, just so that we make it worth the $2 for people who want to come do that. And it'll be fun behind the scenes videos, bloopers, things like that. I haven't figured that out fully yet, but we're going to try to make it worth it. Also, sniffles out of nowhere. Sniffle attack. Not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this action tonight. We're going to see, we have the Rams and the Seahawks tomorrow afternoon. They are playing at 4:30 Mountain Time. Anybody wondering, because they don't know what the heck Mountain Time is, that is 5:30 Central. That is 6:30 Eastern Time. And then the first game, Denver Broncos hosting the New England Patriots. Right now here in Denver, it is a crisp, chilly 5 degrees last night. Tonight, right now, I think it's sitting around 15 degrees. So at the moment, it's absolutely freezing. Tomorrow, the predicted weather after the 2 snowy days we've had back-to-back in Denver is going to be about 35 degrees and sunny. And if there's no wind chill, that's actually not the worst weather that you can have out here. It might be a pretty comfortable day, honestly, in Denver. So we're going to have to keep that in mind, see how that goes, and see what ends up happening with that. So basically, let's take a look here. I'm going to pull up the NFL scores and stats, and we're going to talk about game number 1. So now that we've gotten the introduction going, we've been going so far for 4 minutes. And let's talk about our first game tomorrow. We've got tomorrow, Patriots coming here to Denver, and they're going to be playing those Broncos. So the preview for this game, this is going to be a good one. You got Drake May and that offense coming in here. This is the furthest into the playoffs that Drake May has ever gotten in the NFL. I honestly am one of those guys who has been skeptical of the offense's performance so far in the playoffs. I feel like Drake May and the offense have been not quite as good as I would have possibly predicted them to be. Like a lot of people think that these guys are just going to get an easy walk into the Super Bowl. I made a video about how Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos totally could beat the Patriots tomorrow. We're going to find out shortly in less than 12 hours. Um, no, not less than 12 hours. That's less than 24 hours. See, guys, I'm not good at math. Let me tell you, not good at math at all. 12 hours, 7:41 a.m. Mountain Time. So we're going to find out in about 8:41, 9:41, 10:41, 11, 12, 17 and a half hours if the Broncos are going to actually beat the Patriots with a backup Jarrett Stidham or not. So let's take a look and see all the things we need to look at. First off, I want to take a look at the strength of schedule between the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. All right. The Patriots will run through their whole schedule really quickly here. Week 1 through week 18. There's 17 weeks of football. We're just going to run through it here. Obviously, they had a bye week, but we're not counting that. So the first week, I told everyone in the very first video on my channel that the Patriots were going to have a slow start to the season, but I did not think it was going to last very long. I thought for sure that the Patriots, with Mike Vrabel, who is one of my favorite head coaches in the NFL, I thought for sure that it was going to take them a few weeks to maybe get going because last year they had a bit of a rough year. I thought with a guy like Vrabel, he can pretty much make blind monkeys play really well. So I figured he would do something well with the people he's brought in on this Patriot squad and all the talented young people that they have playing for them. So I figured it would take a few weeks to get going, but that they would get things going eventually. I didn't expect it to get good immediately. And by week 4, they started hitting their stride. So they lost to the Raiders in week 1, 20-13. Honestly, was expected. Wasn't sure how it was going to go. Hilariously for the Raiders, that's one of their only wins of the year. It was in week 1. And then they decided, that's enough. We're done. We're done with the winning for the rest of the year. So Raiders won 20-13 in week 1. Then the Patriots go. They beat the Dolphins 33-27. No one really knew how bad the Dolphins were going to be this year at this moment. But then the Patriots go. They're 1-1. Week 3, they lose to the Steelers 21-14. That's not the worst loss because the Steelers had Aaron Rodgers. They looked like they were going to be a team to contend with. They ended up being a playoff team, so nothing to sneeze at there. They did fall to 1-2, and then they took on the Panthers. At the time in week 4 that the Patriots took on the Panthers, everyone thought the Panthers were going to still suck. Turns out they didn't. They ended up beating the Buccaneers to get their way into the playoffs. 42-13 victory for the Patriots over the Panthers in week 4. Panthers ended up being good. I don't know if they had fully turned it on yet. I think they were still waiting. Panthers had not gotten good yet at that point in the season, but still ends up looking like a more impressive win now for the Patriots in week 4 with those Panthers not being so great. Now being pretty damn good. Who knows? They were an up and down team this year. So they started slow. Panthers ended up being really good. At the time, they were still slow. Who knows how impressive that win is? To me, it looks more impressive now. Then the big one. This is the one where you started going, hey, these Patriots might be onto something this year. Week 5 against the Bills. They won 23-20 over those Bills. You start going, okay, they're competing with a team like the Bills. Okay. Oh, hi, Ethan. How's it going? Yeah, no, I'm live. Hi, Rex. How's it going? I am live. Yes, sirs. I decided to go live and talk about these because I don't have to do any editing for it. And I just went house hunting for the last 5 hours. We went house hunting, did some open houses. We went with our realtor and looked at some houses. So it went longer than I expected. Thought I'd be on like an hour or two ago and ended up not being on an hour or two ago. So ended up being here later than I wanted to. And in order to not have to make a video, then edit it and all that stuff, I decided, let me just go live. And then the people that want to watch it can watch it after the fact. And even though there won't be any editing, it's more like a radio show when I do this stuff. So that's kind of what I'm going for. That's the vibe I'm going for here. But anyways, we're talking about the Patriots first before we talk about who we think's going to win. We're trying to do about 15 minutes on each team and then move on to the next team. So we've got a few more minutes left for the Patriots, and then we'll move on to the Broncos season. And then we'll move into, obviously, our NFC matchup that takes place at 4:30 Mountain, 6:30 Eastern time tomorrow. Going to be a good matchup. Obviously, I won't be able to be on a live stream for that, so I thought, why not do a live stream here? Might try to do a live stream every once in a while, talk about everything going on in the NFL. stuff like that. Just try to get some more live streams going and get the crew together when the off season's going on. So, as we were saying about the Patriots, week 5, when they beat the Bills, everyone's like, okay, wait a minute. Patriots might be a team to be reckoned with here. Week 6, they go and they beat the Saints. That's expected. They only won by 6, though, 25-19. Still a win, though, and a win in the NFL is a win. Next week, they play the Titans. And this is another thing that we're talking about with the Patriots here that makes me question, just in the slightest, how good they're actually going to play tomorrow. Their strength of schedule has been really low this year. They have not had a very tough schedule at all. So far, we've talked about them beating the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Panthers before they got good, the Saints, and the Titans, 31-13. Not the toughest schedule, but it gets a lot harder when you go play the Cleveland Browns the next week and win 32-13. Just joking. That doesn't help at all. They beat the Patriots beat the Browns right after this, week 8, 32-13. Their schedule is absolutely a cupcake schedule to this point. Then they go to play the Falcons. Falcons play a tough game against them, 24-23. They end up winning still, though. Then they play the Buccaneers. At the time, the Buccaneers were still riding pretty high, favorite to make the playoffs, in a really good position. They ended up losing this game, started being a gigantic skid for the Buccaneers at the time. They were not playing good football. Who knows if they started that bad football against the Patriots. But that win does not look as impressive now, given what we saw by the Buccaneers the last half of the season. Then after they played the Buccaneers, finally they're going to have a tough matchup, right? No, they go to play the Jets, and they win 27-14. I mean, doesn't get much more difficult when you're playing the Jets. The week after that, they beat the Bengals, continuing to win every single week, obviously, but they beat the Bengals by 6, 26-20. The Bengals, who lost to those Jets. The Bengals had a couple good weeks. Obviously, one of them was against my Cardinals. I don't want to talk about it. Real quick, Ethan. Yeah, you said, that's nice. Hope you're doing good. I'm in the middle of a snow ice storm currently, so that's fun. Nice. We are getting light snow in Denver right now, but honestly, everyone else is getting more snow than us. It's hilarious. Everyone else is getting more snow than us. I moved from Lubbock, Texas to up here in Denver when I graduated from Texas Tech. We never got snow down there except for one time. Like every rarely, once every 3 or 4 years, you get like one snowstorm. And now up here in Denver, we've had like a snow accumulation of 2.5 inches for the entire winter this year. And in Lubbock, Texas, they're about to get like 4 to 8 inches just tonight. So they're beating Denver, Colorado, and West Texas in the panhandle of Texas in the amount of snow accumulation this winter, and we're already almost to February. I really don't know what's going on with the weather, but that's hilarious. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the Midwest, the East, getting completely blasted right now as well. And you guys are going to get blasted, I think, tomorrow too. Hopefully your power stays on so you can watch the football games in the chat. You, Mr. Rex and Ethan. All right, so Patriots beat the Jets. Then they go beat the Bengals. They only win by 6 against the Bengals. Then the very next week, they play the New York Giants. They win 33-15 against the Giants. Let's check if Jackson Dart was playing in this one. He was, but he only threw for 139 yards in that game. That might have been the first game that Jackson Dart started, actually. We'll continue on with the Patriots schedule, though, because it is really just a pretty easy schedule. You do have to play the Bills twice if you're the Patriots here. Patriots ended up playing the Bills again after they went on this winning streak against a bunch of really easy teams. Honestly, some of the worst teams in the NFL. The Bills beat them the second time that they played, 35-31. Pretty good matchup. But then they were proving, people were like, your schedule's weak. But then they were playing the Bills really strong, so people were like, you know what? We'll give them a little bit of grace. We'll go ahead and let them have a pass on that one because they are playing good against the good teams. And then they ended up beating the Ravens the next week, 28-24. Played the Jets again, absolutely pounded them. Played the Dolphins again, pounded them. And they made the playoffs. I think that might be like the easiest schedule in the NFL, which is why I'm skeptical of them possibly even beating the Broncos tomorrow. And I know that the Broncos have their backup. I made the video about Jarrett Stidham, talked all about that. I have plenty of actually pretty reasonable reasons as to why the Patriots would lose tomorrow. I think if they win tomorrow, it's going to be because their defense gets a defensive touchdown quickly. It's all over Stidham. I think that that's going to cause very quickly for there to be some issues for the Broncos side of the football. If for some reason the Patriots get out to a lead that's like 14 nothing, let's say, and it's quick. We're like halfway through the first quarter. The Patriots are going to dominate this game. The Broncos have to pace them pretty quickly. They have to show that they can move the chains. It's going to be something like the pressure is completely on the Broncos right now. The Patriots are coming in here riding high. Their defense probably feels cocky as heck, man. They think we're going to the Super Bowl, and it's good for them to believe that because that's how they're going to win this game. And if they play a full, complete team ball game, like they have on defense the last two games, then they're going to advance to the Super Bowl. That's just how it is. Um, but the Broncos can win this game. And I feel like nobody is mentioning that they can win this game, which is why I've been talking about it. Let's see. Yeah, it's covering the snowstorm right now is covering the whole US. It's covering the whole thing. People panic, unfortunately, because the gas stations are already out of gas, and multiple people can't drive in it because they don't have a 4x4. Yeah, they call for a centimeter of snow and they freak out. Yeah, so the weather was predicting maybe at 4 inches maximum in West Texas, and my dad said it was impossible to like get into the grocery store for anything. And I'm like, dude, are you that ill prepared with groceries that you don't have enough food in your house for 2 to 3 days if everything closes down? Just like these people are crazy. Like, I have enough ramen and like emergency supplies that I could last easily 2 or 3 days in my house if there was a snowstorm. It would not even be difficult. And out here, though, in Denver, they do have the snow plows, they have road crews. It'd have to be a gigantic snow blizzard for them to shut everything down. Usually, everything stays open when it snows out here, but obviously, in places where they don't have that infrastructure and they don't have the ability to get the ice off the roads, then it makes it a lot harder. But you've had snow all day. It's just starting to ice and supposed to pretty much all night. Allen County, Kentucky. We'll have to look that up. Listen to you just multitasking with Rex. You think the Broncos have a chance? I think the Broncos have a chance too. It's ice in the South if it's enough. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the ice is what really causes it when the infrastructure can't handle it. That really takes down the whole area for like we're talking I mean a week or two. When there was the Snowmageddon they called it in Lubbock, I was down there at the time. What year was that? 2014 or 2015? There was like a 1 or 2 feet of snow that just randomly hit West Texas and just knocked out every business for a week or two. Everyone was getting stuck. There were no plows. You can't plow any snow. So everyone was getting stuck, and there were big trucks pulling people out because they had a 4x4. Obviously, they were able to drive on the snow. Um, but yeah, there were a lot of people getting stuck, and I drove my little Ford Fusion out of that pile of snow of West Texas and still drove down to the southeast part of Texas to go see my granny at the time, who I was going to go see anyways, was planning to drive down there. And so, yeah, I thought that was pretty hilarious how I didn't get stuck somehow in my Ford Fusion. That just shows how skilled of a driver I am, though. Like Texas 2021. Oh, it's bad. Yeah, like when Texas got hit so hard by that storm. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Lane? Like Texas 2021 bad, where the whole place shut down with power for a week or two because of the fact that it like all completely shut down because there was so much ice and there was a horrible car accident on that freeway. I don't know if that was in Dallas, I think, where people were just piling up on each other because the ice was everywhere. Yeah. What's up, Lane? How's it going? We're just doing like an hour and a half predictions for the Super Bowl. Who's going to make it to the Super Bowl right now? But right now we're tangenting over to the storm that everyone's having in the anywhere from Texas all the way up to the north, and then all the way over to the east. And Denver has only gotten like an inch in the last 2 days. The storm started after. I know, yeah, that was pretty funny. Lane thinks the Broncos are going to win too. Heck yeah, Lane. I really do. I'm biased though, so I really don't feel like I have as much of a say in the Broncos specifically because I am biased towards the Broncos, and not even gonna lie about it. I will tell you that I feel a little more biased to the Broncos. I am more inclined to say why they'll win rather than why they'll lose. But the Cardinals, it's been such a horrible stretch. They have 6 winning seasons since 1987. It's much easier to say why they'll lose. But for the Broncos, it's much easier to try to convince yourself that they're going to win because they're one of my teams. So, yeah, I've been trying to convince myself that they're going to win. I think it is very plausible that they will win this game. I don't think the Patriots offense is as good as people think it is. I think if their defense doesn't play as perfectly as they have the last 2 weeks, um, we're going to have a close game and then anything can happen. I'm calling like a 1 point game. I'm hoping it's a good game. I'm calling like a 1 point game. And I think that, the Broncos could win it. But the problem is the next week after that, if it's the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks would decimate the Broncos personally. So let's see. Let's see. You want the Pats to win for the memes and rage bait. You just want the Empire to return. Nobody wants the Empire to return. Right? Ryan, did you see the pink in the music channel? I need to check the music channel. My phone is about to die again. I need to plug my phone in right now. Just one sec, guys. I'm going to plug my phone in. Look, I know, guys, it's been out here 5 degrees yesterday. It got up to 10 to 15 today, pretty much held 15 degrees all day. And then this phone was at 40% when I went looking at houses with the realtor that we were looking at houses with. And then an hour later, it was dead. And my phone can usually hold a 40% charge if I'm not looking at it like an entire day. And I just had it in my pocket and my phone went from 40% and I picked it up like an hour later and it was dead. And I was like, what happened? And I know if it's cold, it can drain the battery more. But I mean, it's just kind of like, what is going on here? I really don't know what's going on. Like my phone also just now got back up to 30 something percent. And then I just like looked at it just now, hadn't touched it, hadn't done anything to it. It's back to 1%. So I may need to look into getting another battery for my cell phone. That's not good. All right, let's see. Yeah, Rex says Pats and Seahawks. And also, I want to say, Lane, I saw your message. Don't forget the governor left the state. Yes, when that snowstorm happened, the governor left the state. That guy's a hilarious guy to make fun of. He also left the state a second time they had a disaster. 2 disasters, 2 vacations. Anyways, we got Lane saying Rams Broncos. My pick is Seahawks Broncos rematch. That's who I think's going to do it. But we're talking about the reasons. The first big reason is the Pats' strength of schedule. So I want to say that really quickly. The strength of schedule for the regular season was terrible. And their offense hasn't looked as good as I think it could be here in the playoffs so far. And I think that's their big weakness. The Broncos defense didn't look good last week. But the deal is they were playing Josh Allen and the Bills. So the Denver Broncos, I think, are going to look much better defensively against the Patriots than they did. They really got to shore up that run defense, though, because last week, let's take a look at how many rushing yards the Broncos allowed against the Bills. I just want to take a look at it real fast. As we transition from the Pats to Broncos, the Patriots had a weak strength of schedule. Their offense is their weak point. Their defense has to play as strong as they have been playing, because after the 4 turnovers they got last week, 4 or 5 turnovers, they still only won by 12 points? They still only won by 12. Let's see what was the score again. Yeah, 12. They won 28-16, and they had how many turnovers? They had 5 turnovers, and they still only won by 12 because the offense couldn't get anything going. And also the defense got one of their touchdowns. I mentioned that in my video. my video about the Patriots, why the Broncos could win. Like, they only scored 21 points offensively off of 5 turnovers. One of their touchdowns came when they started on their side, on the opponent's side of the field. I mean, the Broncos scored 33 on the Bills. You can't sneeze at that. Their defense was all over Josh Allen. If they were all over Josh Allen, they're going to be all over Drake May. I mean, people are counting out these Broncos just because Bo Nix got hurt. Bo Nix is a guy you can, I don't know, plug into this. He's kind of a system quarterback at the moment. Maybe he'll be more than that later. But Jarrett Stidham is basically just a slightly less good version of Bo Nix. That's just how I feel at the moment. I feel like you can plug him in, make some things happen. And I feel like these Broncos here, they won 33-30, controversial finish. Taking a look at the team stats, they allowed 183 rushing yards to the Bills. They were allowing like 91 rushing yards on average per game the entire season. And they allowed 183 to the Bills. That will be unacceptable. If they do that again, they're going to lose to the Patriots. They cannot allow 200 rushing yards. That's absolutely not possible. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about for about 5 straight minutes the Denver Broncos and why I think they're going to win. And then I'll go back and check the chat. But I just want to get my focus on the Broncos here real quick. So the Broncos, when they played the Bills, they did move the ball quite a bit. We can't take a look at any of their offensive stats because it's going to be completely different with the backup quarterback coming in. Bo Nix was the reason why they had 279 passing yards. Rushing yards was a gigantic deal. The Broncos, on top of defensively needing to stop the rushing game, their offense needs to be able to rush the football themselves. They need to actually be able to move the football. They only had 70 rushing yards last week total. And taking a look at who was the leading rusher, it was Bo Nix with 29 rushing yards. The second guy was Jaleel McLaughlin, who had 21 rushing yards, and RJ Harvey only had 20. Now, Sean Payton is a coach who hates running the football. He does not like running the football. He's very adamant in this Broncos offense. I mean, it took forever for him to start trying to run the football a little bit, and that happened last year, started in the end of the season, running the football a little bit more. It was pass heavy. He passes like 80% of the time, it seems. That's why Bo Nix had 46 attempts. And granted, it was a close game back and forth. That knocked it up a little bit as well as being in the overtime period. But that is kind of similar to what we're seeing. I mean, RJ Harvey had 6 carries and McLaughlin had 4. We had 10 total carries to 2 different running backs combined. The Bo Nix rushes were all pretty much scrambles. So he kind of dropped back to throw over 50 times. He dropped back to throw about 58 times and ran the ball 12 of it to try to scramble. I mean, you can't make this up how pass heavy the Broncos are. And Sean Payton has been quoted as saying Jarrett Stidham's going to sling that football. So it's either going to work really well and everyone's going to be like, whoa, Jarrett Stidham, this guy's amazing. This guy's going to go play as a starter somewhere else, like the Raiders or something, like they had him already. They probably wouldn't take him back. He'll end up being a Jet or a Brown or a Cardinal. Maybe he could be on the Cardinals' radar. I don't know. Or it's going to go the other way, and everyone's going to be like, he is who we thought they were. But the Broncos have to get the rushing game going. They have to stop the opponent's rushing game like they did all season and try to get some intermediate passes for Jarrett Stidham to start feeling comfortable, because that'll be a big deal for him as well. Need him to start feeling comfortable. Marvin Mims last week had 93 receiving yards. Courtland Sutton had 4 catches for 53 receiving yards, but the problem with Courtland Sutton was he didn't get his first catch until late in the fourth quarter. You're going to have to lean on him, get him involved, because, I mean, you can't wait till the fourth quarter to have your number one receiver start getting some grabs or even targets, really, because he had 9 targets. I mean, he only had 4 catches on 9 targets, but still, got to do better than that. But I do think the Broncos can win this game. Their defense is going to play better this week against the Patriots than they did against the Bills. I'm calling it. The Bills' offense is better than the Patriots by a mile, and that was with injuries. So I really do think the Broncos can win this game. My prediction, who is going to win between the Broncos and the Patriots? I mean, you guys already know where I stand, the ones who are here right now. If anybody's watching this after the fact, I'm going with the Broncos. I'm rolling for the crazy one. I'm rolling for the hot take. I'm rolling for the upset at this point, and I'm picking the Broncos. I think it's going to be like a 1 to 3 point game. So the spread's probably, I don't know. I don't have a spread pulled up here, but I'm thinking that the Broncos are going to win this game. And I think that it's going to be on like a field goal or something like that. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think this could be a defensive battle, but we could have, I think a defensive touchdown will happen in this game. Which team it's going to happen for, that could be the determining factor on who wins it and it advances to the Super Bowl. I just don't think it's going to be as easy for the Patriots as everyone thinks it is. But I guess we're about to find out. It'll be a good game. Pretty excited for it. The final four of the NFL here in the NFC. We're going to move our way over to that championship game. The Los Angeles Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. We'll talk about that shortly. Let's see what's been going on in this chat here. Link, not pink. I didn't see the link in the music section, Lane, but I am glad we added that so we can add a whole bunch of music in there, new options for people to listen to, find some new music and stuff like that. I think that'll be pretty cool. It's the cold weather that drained my battery, Lane. You think that? I'm pretty sure you're probably right. I'm pretty sure you're right. The ice storm of 1994 here, people didn't have power for over a month, so hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, I sure hope not. Yeah, we can put Pink songs also into the music channel, Rex, just so you know, we can put Pink songs in there. That'd be pretty fun. Pink has some good songs, not gonna lie. She's got a couple bangers. Is there Pink clone troopers? Not that I'm aware of, but I'm not very well versed in anything from the last 3 to 5 years, so I may be wrong. I can confirm that there's not any Pink clone troopers. I mean, they put literally like every clone trooper into the Battlefront 2 game, the new one, and there's not a pink one to be found. There's green, there's blue, there's red, there's black, there's all sorts of fun stuff. There's no pink. I feel like that's since they're all bros, they're all men, they're like, "Oh, pink, can't do pink. No, I can't do that." You hear the ice hitting the window here now? So it's sleeting where you are, Ethan. Yeah, that's sleet, not ice. Ice comes in the form of freezing rain. Sleet is like a mix. It's like a wet snow that's like almost fully like ice. It's just supposed to be a lot of ice buildup based off the sleet covering everything. Yeah, I bet so. It's going to freeze over as well. Since we haven't seen live since it happened, how does everyone feel about the McDermott firing? I think that I'll probably make a video about it shortly. I know that That's Good Sports made one a few hours ago about the Bills being kind of in a weird spot. But I don't really watch anyone else's videos other than Tom's, so I haven't really checked it out. But I'm thinking I might make one about the Bills as well. I'm thinking the Bills need a video made about them and how they're kind of seeming dysfunctional right now. And they made McDermott the scapegoat for the situation that they were in and fired him just because they weren't having the success that they were looking for. But every single year, it's like something so minuscule. Every single year that gets them eliminated from the NFL playoffs. Every year, it's the same damn thing. Overtime in the divisional round or the championship game, and they lose on like some sort of flag or some sort of fluke play. They're just such a cursed franchise, guys. Lane says, Rex, know how I forbid the Bears winning are going to the Super Bowl? Hey, at least the Bears lost. There you go. Broncos, Rams, Ethan. You like Funhouse and So What by Pink. Okay, yeah. I don't know exactly what the songs are based on the name, but if you played it for me, I would know. You can put the link in the music part of the Discord if you want to, but that's if you want to. We got Scurvy is the only good Pink song. Yes. And the Bears moving too, Ryan. Are they 100% moving? Yo, can I have some Raising Canes, Ryan? No. It's mine. It's my Raising Canes. I got it for me. It's all mine. Yeah, if you were here, I'd buy you some, but no. You can't have my Raising Canes. Do you have a Canes out where you guys are? Before we hop into the NFC conversation about the NFC Championship game, my pick is the Broncos. I'm pulling for the upset. I'm also a little biased, and I'm not going to lie. And I try my best to be as unbiased as possible when I'm talking about my picks. But unbiasedly, I still think that the Broncos could win this game. So I really think it's completely fair to say. I still think it's fair to say that the Broncos can win this game. The people who have their blinders on, and especially who are betting on this game, who are just going full blown Patriots, could end up being very upset tomorrow. So it's going to be hilarious to see people freak out if the Broncos pull it off, especially checking out the Patriots page if that happens. People are going to be flipping out. How'd you lose to Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos? It's definitely a possibility. But we're going to hop over to the NFC here shortly. Um, we got 6 people in here right now watching us talk about the playoffs, also talking about the ice storms going through everywhere. What was the last thing? Yes, Rex and the Bears moving. Okay, yeah, I wanted to look up really quickly before we hop into that. Are the Bears officially moving? Bears officially moving. Let's see. As of January 2026, the Chicago Bears have not officially moved or broken ground on a new stadium, but they are actively negotiating for a new home outside of Chicago. While they previously focused on a purchase 326-acre site in Arlington Heights, they are currently expanding their search to include Northwest Indiana, which is Gary, Indiana, due to tax and financing uncertainties in Illinois. Key details on the Bears' future home, Arlington Heights. The Bears purchased the former Arlington Park racetrack for $197.2 million in 2023. However, stalling on a mega project property tax assessment freeze has kept the project in limbo. Gary, Indiana. The team is considering sites in Gary, including the former Buffington Harbor, after Indiana lawmakers advanced a Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority to lure the team. Soldier Field status. The team's lease at Soldier Field runs through 2033, but they have the option to buy out the lease as early as 2026, which is why they're trying to do that. Where is the stadium at? Is it in downtown Chicago? Is that why they want to move? Because it's so like such a crap hole in downtown Chicago that like it's just not safe? Like what's going on there? The team aims to build a new dome stadium. Everyone's trying to build a dome now in the NFL. They've stated they will not seek public funding for the structure itself because people would not want to pay for that with their tax money. I mean, people are tired of paying for stadiums for billionaires. They require certainty on tax infrastructure and special aspects. While the team has expressed a desire to move to the suburbs, no final binding decision has been announced, and the competition between Illinois and Indiana as of 2026 is ongoing. Eventually, who do you think the Cardinals coach will be now that a lot are starting to get taken? The crazy thing about the Cardinals right now, guys, is that this is one of the videos I'm making next week. I think it's the first one on my list because I got to make sure I'm at least making a Cardinals video like every 3 videos because this is a Cardinals heavy channel. Nobody wants to coach for Arizona, and there are many reasons why, and I'm going to point them all out in the video. But the main things I'm going to talk about are we're in the toughest division in football. That's the number one thing. Right now, the toughest division in football, at least in the NFC. 3 teams from the NFC West were in the playoffs up until the 49ers left. And the 49ers left because they got eliminated. I mean, the 49ers were in it for a hell of a long time considering how injured they were. The 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Rams are 3 of the toughest teams in the NFL. 2 of them are still in the playoffs in the Final Four. And no one wants to be the coach for a division where you have 3 perennial Super Bowl contenders, and then you're the coach of the 4th team. Like nobody wants to coach that. It's basically a losing battle, regardless of how good of a coach you are. You're heading into a losing battle because if those teams continue to stay good, which Mike McDonald and the Seahawks look like they may win a Super Bowl this year, you've got the Rams on the other side who have McVay, and they've been good ever since he got there. They're looking amazing. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. I think the only thing that could possibly happen to the Rams is if they lose Stafford at some point and they don't have a backup and they don't have a new rookie that can be the new quarterback for them. But everyone always wants to go to LA. They'll probably figure something out and it'll piss everyone off. Then you've got the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, as long as he's there, their team is going to be contending. They're going to keep that same core of people. They're always going to be good. No one wants to coach the Cardinals, number one, because of that. That's the biggest concern for new coaches is, first of all, if even if we're good, are we gonna make the playoffs over these 3 other teams? You have to beat them. You play them 6 times a year total. Like, you have to at least be able to compete with those teams to have a shot. If you get beat down by all 3 of them, you have no shot to make the playoffs. If you play good enough to maybe be a wild card bubble team, but then the other 3 are above you, they make the playoffs instead. It's just a really big point that I'm gonna have in the video is that no one's going to want to coach for a team that even if you're decent, you're not going to make the playoffs because every other team in the division is so dang good. So that's the first hurdle. Second hurdle is the owner. Um, he's so cheap, okay? Except for when he puts a casita into the stadium, then he's not cheap. He puts all these fancy little suites and casitas for the really rich people of Phoenix and Glendale. Go hang out, watch the Cardinals game, do all this fun stuff in your fun little suite that costs like $1 million for one game or something to rent out. So businesses will rent it out, stuff like that during the games to go in there and do whatever and hang out. But nobody wants to go play for an owner who sucks, okay? Who is cheap. No one wants to go play for the Cardinals. No one wants to go coach for the Cardinals because their owner is a cheapskate, honestly. He really isn't willing to. He wasn't willing to pay for John Harbaugh. And right now, with all the coaches on the market, you still got Mike Tomlin out there. We've still got Mike McDaniel out there, and we don't even want them. We didn't even give Stefanski a single look, and the Falcons scooped him up. I don't think he's a bad coach, guys. We didn't even give Stefanski a look. Who else we got? There's Mike LaFleur, the Rams OC. Is he the OC or the DC? I think he's the offensive coordinator for the Rams. And over here, you got, like, he probably won't even want to come here again because of the first point I brought up, how it's a losing battle for the Cardinals. What's up, Finn? How's it going, dude? Good to see you. Anyone else here as well that hopped in? I'll say hi to everybody. I'm going off on a tangent for the Cardinals because this is a really good topic for me. I got a lot to talk about in this video next week. It's gonna be the next one. Probably my Monday video after tomorrow is going to be that Cardinals video about why no one wants to coach for the Cardinals. Second reason is the owner. We were talking about it. He's cheap and he wasn't willing to pay for the coach. So the coach isn't going to get paid as much as they can probably get paid elsewhere. He likes paying for guys who are new, guys who have never had any head coaching experience in the NFL, guys who are green. I think there is a story about somebody who got a second interview for the Cardinals coaching job. Let's see here. Second interview for the Cardinals coaching job. And I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. Oh, it's this guy. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanelli. Anthony Campanelli, the Jaguars defensive coordinator, he went back for a second interview. This guy is an absolute beast. I want this guy because this is the kind of guy we go for. The Cardinals don't go for a guy like John Harbaugh. They can't afford it. They don't want to spend the money on that. They're not going to go for those big name guys. I don't even think we're going to go for a guy like Robert Saleh because he's going to demand too much. And that's the guy I wanted like a week ago. And I don't think we're going to go for that guy. I think we're going to go for Jaguars defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli for the head coaching vacancy. And that is honestly, I think that's a pretty damn good pick. This guy in a practice had the most fiery, crazy, F-bomb ridden speech to pump up his guys about how you go out there and you fight for your team and you go out there and you put blood, sweat, and tears on the line. He was fired up. And he's one of those guys who's like a Dan Campbell, like, we're going to go out there and you guys are going to love me so much that you'll die on the field for me. This guy is absolutely amazing. The Cardinals are in desperate need of one of these new coaches that the players just want to play for so badly. The Cardinals are in desperate need of a strong coach. We've had Steve Wilks, Cliff Kingsbury, and Jonathan Gannon, all a bit of pushovers in their time here. Guys who Cliff Kingsbury had the swagger, but if he was a friendly people's coach, he's a friendly guy. If everyone gets mad at him and he loses the locker room, he's not winning that back. Jonathan Gannon lost the locker room quick as well. guys that were kind of able to be pushed over by their locker room. This guy would not be one of those guys. I want that Jaguars defensive coordinator. And I think that's the best bet for the Cardinals right now. So that answers your question there.
Ain't no best bet for the Cardinals. They suck. They're gay. Suck.
Kate just told me that the Cardinals suck. Hopped in here real quickly.
And that they're gay.
Yes. Thank you for that, hun. She's adding in some good little tidbits there about how she thinks the Cardinals suck. Thanks, honey. See you later. Where were we there? I had one more point for why the Cardinals, no one wants to coach for them. Oh, the NFLPA grades for the Cardinals. They were the worst placed team. They got F minuses in everything. They got F minuses for their training facility. They got F minuses for the food that they provide their players. They got F minuses for how they treat family. They got F minuses for pretty much everything across the board. We could look at it right here, real quickly, and then we'll hop into the NFC championship match, and then we'll be all done for today. But Arizona Cardinals, NFLPA grades or something like that. What was that thing? F minus. Let's just see what it was. This is my third point. The Arizona Cardinals ranked 32nd, which is dead last overall in 2025 NFL Players Association team report cards, receiving an F minus for their locker room and an F for their weight room. Players cited, among other issues, an undersized, outdated locker room and poor facility conditions. And this is a situation again with the owner. This rounds it back to the owner who's not willing to put any money into his franchise, but is so willing to just rake in the profits and not make his team better. This is one of the last few family-owned football teams in the entire NFL, and it shows. They're not owned by any special interests. Like the Broncos are owned by the literal owners of Walmart. So they're going to put money into their team so that they're good. But the Cardinals are a family-owned business, essentially. And so they're not as willing to do that. Let's see what other horrible grades the Cardinals had, which is why they got 32nd place and why no one really wants to coach for them. This is like the third final reason I'm talking about right now. I probably have some more reasons as well. Probably the fourth reason would be how they treat their star players. They treated Kyler Murray horribly this year. And that was a whole situation. And that's going to come out. When Kyler's done with the Cardinals, that's all going to come out. The locker room was an F minus. The weight room got an F. The training room got a D minus. Food and dining got a D minus. Ownership got a D minus from the NFLPA. Head coach Jonathan Gannon got an A. People really liked him at the time. All right. Despite these low marks, the team was noted for having better travel arrangements, a B rating, and an improved, though still failing, facility situation compared to previous years. All right, well, and they are building a new training facility I'm aware of. So that is happening as well, guys. That's something that's definitely going on. Let's hop back into the chat after I answered that question. Sorry, I got a bit of a tangent on that one. That may have answered all the questions you wanted, though. I answered that I want Anthony Campanelli, defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, at this current moment to be the coach. And I also answered a lot of other stuff. So let's take a look here. That was Rex's question. Let's see here. The Titans are also getting a new stadium. That would make sense. Everyone kind of wants to upgrade. Thank you, Captain Rex. Appreciate it. Videos are rocking. Keep it up. Appreciate it, sir. We just we hit the new subscriber goal. Got to 1.12. We got a new subscriber from the CJ Stroud video, so we're at 1,121. We have, I think some people from the raid are unsubscribing because I have been noticing a trend, everybody, where we'll go up a subscriber and down, which is why I haven't been hitting the goals as fast. We go up and then down and then up and then down and then up and then down. So I know I'm making good videos, and I know I'm making like pretty good quality videos, especially for my channel size. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about it at all. But I think that is some of the stuff that's going on. I had about 500 people subscribe to me from that. So I'm pretty sure some of them are just being like, you know what? I was trying to be nice. I don't really want to be subscribed to this guy, and they're unsubscribing. So the Stroud video got a new subscriber. The Stidham video got 2 new subscribers. But it's been slow going for the amount of views I'm getting. Not very many subs coming in and out. But I have a new fun video idea coming out where I'm going to do the NFC West if it was a Law and Order episode, and there's going to be the Cardinals are dead and then the other 3 NFC West teams are trying to figure out what happened, and the NFL is coming in for a meeting, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, who murdered this guy?" Um, I'm making a fun little video of that, and I think adding more humor will help with that too. We'll add in a humorous video here and there, along with a bunch of the ones that don't have as much. But I try to insert some humor into all of them. Let's see. Tree did a video about Mike McCarthy hiring. I don't even know what I would say about that. I guess it makes sense for Tree to make the video about the Mike McCarthy hiring because he's a Steelers dude. All I have to say about the Mike McCarthy hiring is what I said in the Discord. They went from a 9-8 coach to another 9-8 coach, and they're going to just stay in that purgatory. The good thing for Mike McCarthy is the Steelers are one of the most patient franchises ever if you're doing that. So he may have a career for the rest of his career. He might be a coach for the rest of his entire coaching career in Pittsburgh, and they'll just continue to stay in purgatory right in the middle of the league and always be 9-8 every year. Is Mike related to Matt, the coach for Green Bay? Mike LaFleur is his brother. Yes. He's the offensive coordinator for the Rams. He's the brother of Matt, who's the head coach for the Packers. Robert Sala's with the Titans now. Is he the head coach? He needs to be be a regular on streams. She doesn't like the camera, Captain Rex. Kate's a Broncos fan. Yeah, Kate's a Broncos fan. Just so you know, Ethan. Oh, the failed son of an owner in Arizona hated the NFLPA report card. Yeah. Hi, Leif. How's it going? Rex, I put in the 2 pink songs on the music channel. Nice, nice. Family owned since 1920s in Chicago, and before that too. They were since like 18 something. They were a football club at the time, and then they became an NFL team in 1920 officially. But I found out there was like 18 something that they were officially made a thing. Did Derek eat the blue cheese again? Derek's in a good mood today, actually. But he did rub blue cheese on his eyes. It's kind of a therapeutic thing for him. That's why his eyes are a little more green today than usual. Those bad ratings are worth the tangent by itself. It's going to be a long video, guys. I'm thinking I might hit 10 minutes on that one. I'm not used to doing that. We'll have to figure out how to get that going. How to make that interesting for 10 straight minutes for people. Steelers fans are going through it right now. Are they really? Are they not a fan of the hire? Because I'm not a fan of the hire. I was a little bit like, what are they doing? They could have probably gotten a better coach than that. Get Mike has defense coach for Green Bay Packers. Yeah, he's the coach, or they're at least finalizing a deal with the Titans. Okay. I think that's a great move for them. Let's talk about Titans' new head coach real quick, because that's probably trending right now. 5 things to know about the new Titans head coach, Robert Saleh. That was 1 day ago. Titans hire Robert Saleh as next head coach. There he goes, guys. He would rather go to a place with a quarterback, Cam Ward, than go to the Cardinals. I mean, it just shows you, man, no one wants to coach for the Cardinals. He was in active interview, like pretty heavy interview talks with the Cardinals, and he chose not to go there. It's just another reason. Packers, the Steelers still want to go 9-8 or 8-9 or 8-9. Packers just need a defense coach. The Packers defensive coordinator is another guy they're talking about the Cardinals potentially wanting. I don't want that guy. The other guy that the Cardinals had a second interview for is Anthony Weaver, the Miami Dolphins DC. Oh my goodness. The Raising Cane's is trying to come back up on me. I don't want Anthony Weaver. I don't want him one bit. I don't want Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. But I don't know enough about him, I guess. But I want Campanelli more. But let's take a look here. Other matchup tomorrow, everybody, is the Seattle Seahawks versus the LA Rams. Rams are traveling to Seattle to take those Seahawks on. And the Rams, hey, they've been playing really enough to win. They've been playing pretty complete games. The Bears had that crazy throw to tie the game on the last play and take the game into overtime. What a freaking game that was. I'm not upset that I didn't stream it, but because we had done so many games the last few weeks that I was getting burnt out on the streams, and I didn't want to have horrible streams that weren't quality. But that game ended up being crazy. That was a wild finish. I I'm almost bummed that the Bears lost after tying the game with no time left. Um, but the Rams ended up winning 20-17. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a pretty cut and dry game, the second game of the day. Rams versus Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to win this one. And I think the Seahawks are probably the best defense right now that is left. The best defense playing at the current moment, as far as momentum and skill and how they're playing, is that Seahawks defense. But you do have three really good defenses left in the last four teams. You got the Seahawks defense, you got the Broncos defense, you got the Patriots defense. All three really good defenses that are still all playing very well right now. The Rams defense has been doing pretty good. I think that they're the fourth best defense. But yeah, I think Seattle's going to win this game. I think both teams have had fantastic seasons. I think that their last game was the game of the year. Their matchup where they had that shootout in the regular season was like the game of the entire season. It was such a cool game. The Seahawks were getting pretty beat down by the Rams. So the Rams definitely could win, but I just don't see how they can beat the Seahawks based on the momentum the Hawks have right now. I think the Seahawks are going to pull this one off. I think they're playing better offensively right now. They've really turned it on offensively. Defensively, they're a nightmare to deal with at the moment, and they're playing with so much confidence. I don't know if the Rams have enough to deal with them at the moment. I think the Seahawks are going to take this bad boy. And I mean, just taking a look at the Seahawks' other playoff games right now, they won in the divisional round 41-6 against the 49ers. That's the one game to look at. We take a look at the team stats for what happened in that 49ers game. I mean, Sam Darnold was 12 of 17 for 124 yards passing, but he really didn't need to pass the ball at all after the first quarter. It was over at that point. Hand the ball off to Walker, who had 116 yards on the ground. I mean, 175 total rushing yards. They were just fully in control. And you can plug in Charbonnet, who only had 20 yards. I think he's a little dinged up, so we'll see if he's fully healthy going into this one. Charbonnet, I know, had a little bit of issue. That's why they kept Walker in so heavily last game. But having Walker, your actual starter, being the only guy is not a problem. They ended up controlling this entire game. The time of possession was pretty split, and the first downs were split. All that stuff was all good to go. They even punted the ball more than the 49ers did. They punted the ball 3 times versus the 49ers 1. But they dominated this game from head to toe, and it wasn't even close. And, I mean, Brock Purdy, quarterback rating of 54. Not that great. They just absolutely dominate. I don't see how they lose to the Rams at this point. The Rams, who struggled to beat the Bears, whose defense really turned it on. The Bears' defense turned it on in the playoffs. They were playing very impressive football. Caleb Williams impressed me in the playoffs as well. I think that he's a better quarterback than C.J. Stroud right now. You've got the Rams barely pulling off the 2017 win, though, and then barely beating the Panthers 34-31 the week before. I mean, you allow 31 points to the Panthers team who, I mean, we look at the Panthers here really quick. The Panthers had scored 14 points against the Buccaneers in the final week of the season, 10 points only against the Seahawks the week before. They won 23-20 against the Buccaneers the week before. Then they lost the week before that, 20-17 to the Saints. And then you almost lose to them in the first round of the playoffs. Maybe they had a little bit more fire in that game. But I just think the Rams aren't playing as well as the Seahawks right now. Let's take a look at the last matchup between the Seahawks and the Rams, and then we'll go back into the chat. So in the last matchup, you know, that really crazy game, where was it at? Let's see. Which one was it? I know that they played twice. Let's see what happened here. There was the one that the Rams won 21-19, the first matchup on November 16th. In that matchup, Darnold went 29-44 for 279 yards and 4 INTs. Matthew Stafford went 15 of 28 for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Sam Darnold had a terrible game in the first matchup. This was a long time ago, though. They were talking 2 months back. 2 months and a week. Kyron Williams in that game for the Rams had 91 yards on the ground. Walker had only 67. We take a look at the team stats, and the Rams took that one. The team stats were better for the Seahawks in that game, but they were just turning the ball over so much. They still only lost by 2. And then in the second matchup, the Rams had a big lead. They had a 17-7 lead. I think at one point it was bigger than that. At halftime, it was 17-7 in favor of the, actually 13-7. And then the Rams took a bigger lead. I know they had a giant lead. Seattle stormed back into this game, scored 16 points to force overtime in the fourth quarter, and then won in overtime. 8 points scored for them in overtime versus 7 for the Rams. Ended up winning 38-37. In that game, Stafford threw for 457 yards and 3 touchdowns. Darnold went for 272 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Kyron Williams had 70 yards on the ground. Kenneth Walker had 100 and a touchdown. Nakua had this game 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was a game where he went off. Smith and Jigba had 96 yards and a touchdown. Taking a look at the interceptions thrown, 2 interceptions thrown by Darnold, none for Matthew Stafford. Sam Darnold threw 2 interceptions, and they also lost a fumble. So they had 3 turnovers. Rams had none. It was a 1-point game. Seahawks pulled off a crazy comeback win. Don't ever count out the Rams and Matthew Stafford. They could definitely win this game, but I think the Seahawks are going to pull this one off. That is my pick. So I think it's going to be a Seahawks versus Broncos rematch in the Super Bowl. That's what I think is going to happen. But we'll see what happens tomorrow, obviously. We're going to see what ends up happening between them and who actually ends up making it to the Super Bowl. But let's check up on the chat here, see what we got going on. Looks like we got a bunch of new stuff in here. You think it'll be interesting to see where McDermott goes now? That's another guy who I think, the Cardinals, it would be really beneficial to get him, but they're just not going to. He's too high caliber of a coach for us to want him. KFC biscuits are better than Popeyes. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Insert the John Cena meme. Are you sure about that? Giants are suddenly scary. Yeah, the Giants are going to be good with Harbaugh. I don't know what Scooter Magruder came in out of nowhere and was saying that the Giants' John Harbaugh hiring means nothing, but he's a full-blown Cowboys fan, so he has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, dude. That guy's got his haterade in his hand. He's got his hater glasses on. He's got the blinders on. As a Packers fan, I'm happy Rams won. I don't root for LA teams, Finn, but if you're happy, I'm happy. Never liked Kate watch the Puppy Bowl. Yeah, Kate would like the Puppy Bowl, guys. I would love going to the Puppy Bowl, but it just it wouldn't work because I'd want to watch the actual Super Bowl. Packers cheered for the Rams. Okay. Yeah, because obviously the Bears. It makes sense. The Bears were in it. They hate the Bears. Only reason I would be okay with Rams going is because Stafford potentially doesn't have that much longer to play versus all the others are rookies. Yeah, this is essentially his Brady year. He's like the Brady of the final quarterbacks. Everyone else is like a baby compared to him. He's the Brady of this pack of quarterbacks. Darnold is, let's see. Whoa, chat jumped on me. Darnold is saving his arm for the 1-yard line of the Super Bowl versus the Pats. That's true. That would be a rematch as well. If it was Patriots and Seahawks, that's another rematch as well. The only way that this would be different if it was Rams versus Broncos hasn't happened. Rams Patriots hasn't happened. So the only way that we have a different matchup in the Super Bowl is if the Rams make it and then play one of those AFC teams. Otherwise, we get a matchup Seahawks Broncos or Seahawks Patriots no matter what. No matter what. Cold Front hit 156 subscribers. Let's go, dude. Let's go, Cold Front. And he seems a lot more confident and excited about his content ever since we rated him and ever since he's gotten that new equipment. He went and got the mic I have, this Yeti microphone, and he also got the camera I'm using. And I can tell in his streams that they look a lot nicer. You have to say the full name. I can see I slay bots. Is there a bot in here right now? We get a bot in here? You slay bots? Oh, Casey hopped in? What's up, Casey? She did a laughy face emoji. Casey had a decent amount one day. Yeah, Casey slayed bots, Liz was slaying bots, Rex was slaying bots. Those are my top 3 bot slayers. Am I missing anybody? I think we got 4 moderators. Slovakia slash like Villanova fan, that guy. Who's one of the people in the Discord. He hasn't been around as much as of late. He said he was busy with school. Totally fine. I'm totally not worried about it. But what's up, Michael? How you doing? We were talking about who we think's going to win the Super Bowl. We've been streaming for an hour and 5 minutes. Probably won't be going for much longer. But we're just hanging out, talking with the chat now. And my pick is Broncos Seahawks. And I think that, I'm just riding with the Broncos this year. We're going fully for the magic of Jarrett Stidham right now. But my heart is telling me after watching those Seahawks play that, they're the favorite right now to win the whole thing. The Seahawks are the favorite, which will make Desi Westy happy. I think that's how I say his name. I don't know. Is that how you say his name? Don't care for the Cowgirls. I don't either. I lived in Texas for 12 years, nonstop hearing about the Cowboys and, oh, this is their year. I'm so sick of Cowboys fans. I don't want to hear it. So it's only different if it's Broncos versus Rams. Rex, I think we were saying Rams Pats would be different. Did someone raise a point as to why that's not different? The Rams versus the Patriots? Rams Pats have happened. It was just forgetful. Oh, yeah, it did, didn't it? Let's see. Did it happen? Rams versus Pats Super Bowl. Real quick before we talk about this, it did pop up and that was forgettable. Holy crap. 2019. So the only one would be Broncos Rams. That would be different. But it would be different regardless because of the fact that a lot of the players are new. So the Seahawks Broncos rematch would be completely new people on both sides, except for the fact that it's a rematch of the two teams and the franchises. What's the other one? That the Patriots and Seahawks would also be a rematch from 2014, I believe, when that horrible interception happened at the 1 yard line when he should have handed it off to Marshawn Lynch. But again, different players on the entire team, just the franchises repeating with each other. And this was the Super Bowl that had the Patriots and It was the 13-3 win for the Patriots, and Adam Levine did that awkward, really, really strange Super Bowl halftime show. Such a strange show. And this was the Jared Goff game where he did horribly. Jared Goff he didn't play, I guess, horribly. They just couldn't get anything going. They got 3 points. They had Todd Gurley. Forgot about that guy. 19 of 38. That's only 7 years ago. Feels like it was so much longer ago, that specific Super Bowl and Todd Gurley and all that stuff. And Sony Michel was the running back for the Patriots. Obviously, Tom Brady. 13-3 Super Bowl win. Tom Brady, you can't make it that easy for Tom Brady. Come on now, guys. What were they thinking? Real quickly for everybody who's here right now, just want to update you on the watch hours for the channel. We are at like 200 away from being monetized on the channel fully. So that means that every single video will be pulling in just a teeny little bit of money. I think that if I get 100 views, I'll be getting about $1 per 100 views. Based on how my channel's doing right now, though, every video is getting about that much. So that's pretty great. So if you guys want to just watch some of my streams, watch some of my videos, give it a little bit extra love, every single minute counts to get me to that final 200 watch hours. I'm going to obviously continue to be posting every single week, especially while we continue to keep going. I'll be doing a live stream every once in a while. Trying my best to avoid Tom Grassi's Q&A that he does on Fridays. So I'll be doing it at a different time than that because obviously he's doing that. And I don't want to be doing it at that time. Yeah, that was a horrible Super Bowl. Adam Levine took off his shirt and it was a weird one. It was the one where they promised the Super Bowl halftime show would be SpongeBob. And then they did the thing where SpongeBob is all excited and that was it. And me and my friends were pissed. That's all I got to say. And then they had Travis Scott come interrupt him. And that's the worst thing you can do is interrupt SpongeBob with Travis freaking Scott. One of my least favorite people on the entire planet. Um, that's a hot take right there, though. But yeah, if you guys want to pop open a live stream, hang out there, watch it, we will hit the monetization window in 2 weeks. But I feel like we're getting an average of 20 watch hours per video right now. So at that rate, regardless of if anyone watches any more of my videos, I would get, let's see, if I post 4 videos a week, that's 80 watch hours. So in 2.5 weeks, I'd hit it. Yeah. So we're going to be there in like the next half a month. Time's ago, but you're doing very good. Appreciate it, Michael. I am trying. I have 1,121 subscribers right now. So about a million less than Tom, roughly. So, he's got a little bit of an edge on me. He posts all the time, but I'm trying to make my videos of like a higher quality, just like a little bit nicer quality than like sometimes Tom's videos are him sitting there and his insights are fantastic and stuff. And I'm not obviously being critical of him at all. He's the best. But yeah, sometimes his videos are just him sitting there and then like he'll pop up one picture and then he'll continue talking for a few more minutes. And he has such a loyal audience that that's what works for him. But I'm trying to make my stuff a little more interesting to bring in some new fans, bring in some new fans, bring in some new subscribers, fans of the channel, and kind of keep growing it that way. Got to keep the videos engaging. Thanks, Michael. I'm glad you guys rated me too during that Falcons Buccaneers game. That was really fun. Really appreciate that. But all right, everybody, we're gonna be winding down this fun little Saturday night who's going to win the conference championship little stream. Is there anything else anyone wants to say into the stream before we end up hopping out? Because it is 8:47 where I am, and I'd like to spend an hour with Kate before she goes to bed. Let's see. You're doing great, Ryan. You're ahead of a lot of people who have been there for years already. And I mean, look how many of us are here just to hang out with you. Yeah, well, it's because you guys are so cool. I really appreciate hanging out with you guys too. The reason why, wait, Casey real quick said up here at the top, I'd love to see the Broncos win with a backup QB. Yes, Casey. Yes. Love that energy, Casey. Yeah, you absolutely have a wonderful night as well, Michael. I just want to say real quick, I've been noticing so many channels of my size or lower, or people who've been doing this way longer than me. Dude, their videos suck. And I'm just trying to be completely honest with you. I mean, there are so many people, even if I put in like 5% effort on my videos, my videos are way better than people who just sit there talking. I can't tell you how many sports channels there are on YouTube that some sort of podcast or there's a bunch of guys sitting there at a round table or on 4 different screens, one in each corner of your screen, and they're sitting there talking about football. And that's all fun and great, but nobody wants to watch 4 random dudes just talk about football. I'm sorry, like you can get that on any TV show. You can get that anywhere you go. Like people like Tom with their scripted series, with their things that they do that are different than everyone else. That makes them fun. That makes them enjoyable. There's this girl named Annie Agar who makes hilarious videos every single week about the NFL. Not sure if you guys have heard of her. Let's see if I can find her really quickly because she's a little bit of a newer one as well. She's got more subs than me by a good amount, but there she is. Yeah, I was correct. Annie Agar, everybody, just so you know. I'm going to pop the link. She's got 57. She grew a lot this year. I've been following her since she had 14,000 subscribers. And she's all the way up to 57.1. She gained about 50,000 subs this year. I'm popping her a link to her channel for those of you who don't know who she is because she totally deserves the plug. She makes hilarious videos. She stands out from the competition because she makes amazing videos every single week. They're always like her wearing a jersey about a team. She's hilarious. The videos are fun. I'm subscribed to her. She stands out from the competition, but people like even, That's Good Sports. He's got his own unique humor. He stands out, got a good editor. I'm just so tired. I noticed hundreds and hundreds of sports channels that have been doing this for years just have the same thing. Welcome to podcast episode number 401, talking about the Broncos. And they're all just sitting in the corner, just a bunch of guys. There's no editing at all. They just sit there and talk about football. That's great for them if they want to do that, if they're having fun and enjoying it, but that's no way to grow. You've got to have some sort of fun way to like set yourself apart, make yourself a little bit more unique. And that's what I'm trying to do, trying to make fun little different videos here and there. Also, try to show that I have a lot of football knowledge as well. That's why I think Cold Front is growing now. He's starting to do that as well, which is great. It's awesome. He's showing a lot more energy in his videos. He's got that new camera, that nice crisp blue mic. I love it. I'm looking at it right now. 156 subs for him. And he's got obviously a lot of football knowledge. But yeah, you got to set yourself apart. You got to put in at least a little bit of effort. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying my best to make the best videos I can possibly make. When I come home from work, tired, trying my best to make the video, I give myself like 3 hours. What's the best thing I can make in 3 hours? And I try to do that. And then I get off and then I upload the video. As long as it's not copyright claimed. I had 2 copyright claims put in on the Stidham video because I had too many clips of Stidham from the preseason and they kept getting claimed. So I had to keep re-uploading the video. And then like the third time it finally worked. Got that thing up correctly. But yeah, I got to make my stuff askew. On my original channel, I always said stay askew because being normal is weird and being weird is pretty cool. But I'd like to say something different on this channel. So I say join the askew crew. Notice he usually has 20 people in live streams on average now, some nights when he does streams. Cold Front. Well, that's very cool. Yeah, man. Who knows? Maybe he'll end up passing. He may end up passing me. You never know. Have a good night, Rex. I'm glad we had a fun little stream tonight as well. But yeah, basically, I'm really glad that you guys enjoy the content. I like making it. And you guys are good people. I'd like to think I'm a good person as well. Good guy. And I want to, have good people join the channel and make good, fun videos and find more good, fun people to join the channel as well. And I think we're doing that right now. And, just like Tom says, creating chaotic good, I want to make askew good. I want to make weird, fun good for everybody. Yeah. So, like I said, we're so close to being monetized. It's insane. My first members only video for you members is going to be going up, showing all my equipment and my set, just like more behind the scenes videos, fun stuff like that. Maybe a bloopers from here and there. Some blooper reels if I have some stuff like that I'll make and throw that in the members only as well. That'll be fun also. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Tony the Tiger. I mean, Captain Rex. You're great. Appreciate it. Enjoy being a Askew crew member. Have a great weekend, everyone, and be safe with the weather as well. Can't wait for the start of next season already. Delay of gay. Absolutely. Anyways, I love doing this. Love having you guys here. Really appreciate you coming hang out with me on a silly Saturday night. And silly Saturdays are my favorite kind of Saturdays. Hopefully we'll get ourselves into the official Askew Crew dungeon, the Askew Crew lair, the Askew Crew man cave here in the next couple of months, which we might be able to make happen. If not, we'll be here for a few more months after that as well. But maybe we'll get into a house with a basement. That'll be my man cave, and we'll get the full HQ setup. It'll be fantastic. So, all right, everybody. You guys have a great night, and be on the lookout for Why No One Wants to Coach the Cardinals video coming up on Monday, but there will be nothing on the channel tomorrow. If you didn't check out the CJ Stroud video, it's up right now and it's popping off. Go check it out. I put a lot of effort into the Stroud video and the Stidham video. Hopefully they're funny for you. Added a bunch of funny little clips, especially to the Jarrett Stidham video. Put a bunch of little funny tidbits in that one. So go check it out. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you soon in the next video. Might make one even next week talking about who's going to win the Super Bowl for an hour or so. Everyone stay warm. Have a good night. I'm going to go hang out with the honey, and we'll see you guys later.